Welcome to Jasmine Pollock's First Impression Sports Talk, the fastest growing sports talk show in the country. And now, here's your host, Jasmine Pollock.
Hi everyone, welcome to Jasmine's First Impression Sports Talk, episode 9. And we are going to get into some things tonight. It has been crazy. Just to start off the night in the NBA world, currently it is the NBA free agency frenzy that happens every year after the season. So let's start with this. Jeremiah, let's start with the first big bang. Westbrook to the Lakers. What was your reaction? What do you expect from this trade?
I call it a big steal, in my opinion. And I'm going to tell you why, Jasmine. Many people can say when it comes to that trade that it was kind of like an idiotic one because of how Westbrook track record is, especially, his inconsistency when it comes to his shooting, when it makes his decision making, when it comes to in the last minutes or the seconds of the game. And to be honest with you, I kind of disagree with that because we've seen in the certain past what LeBron has done with players when it came to certain track records and how they became successful when he's around them. So this is my thing. When it comes to Westbrook, you're not asking him to do too much, and I don't think that's what the Lakers are going to do. What the Lakers are going to do when it comes to Westbrook, they're going to have him. So when LeBron, he goes on the bench and everything else like that. So he comes in and kind of that energizer that when LeBron leaves off the court, because last year when LeBron left off the court last season, they were the lowest in percentage. So I feel like during this season right here, it can be such a huge one. And plus with their addition, having AD right and then and there, you have a driver like Westbrook. He's going like full drive, like you can't stop him. So you're kind of trying to decide, am I gonna go for Westbrook or am I gonna go for AD? Then it can hit
Right.
the lob, and then you can't even really cloud the lane. And plus, he's such a great passer. Many people can say he's going for his triple double each and every time, but you can't say one thing, that he does not cheat you. He will not always cheat the game. He is one of the hardest working and most athletic athletes I've ever seen in my life. And he's always going to give you his 100%, even if he is inconsistent. And I feel like when it comes to the Lakers and stuff, they're not asking Westbrook to do too much, but just to do his game.
And I agree with that 100%. My first reaction to it, I was like, oh my goodness, because Westbrook is one of my favorite players in this league. And I was really happy for him now, being that we've seen him throughout the course of his career. And he is a phenomenal player. Then you team him up with LeBron and AD, guys, who just 2 years ago or last season won the championship. So I was really excited for Westbrook just to have this opportunity now that he is able to. Now you're competing for a championship. And for me, now for Westbrook, there's always next about his play. If he's a ball hog, he takes too many shots. He bricks a lot. If you want to say, I think for me, I think what they're going to do, I think him and LeBron maybe are going to sit down. They're going to have a conversation. I feel that Westbrook has to take less shots. I think that's what needs to happen. And also there's been talk of if AD will go in that center position and play center. So we'll definitely see how that will work. And LeBron is still going to do what LeBron does. I think LeBron is still going to be able to facilitate here and there. But when you add someone like Westbrook, who's explosive, who can give you assists, this man averages a triple-double every game, I think it's going to be spectacular. Obviously, also not to mention, about 15 minutes ago, Jeremiah, we saw that the Lakers just picked up Trevor Ariza. So how big is Trevor Ariza to this team, being that you have a big three like Westbrook, LeBron, and AD? What do you think about that?
I think that is really lights out because, first of all, when it comes to Trevor Ariza, he's been there. He knows what the culture is like in LA, especially with him winning the 2009 NBA championship with the late Kobe Bryant. Like, it's incredible that they were able to get him. Although, he got into the playoffs when it came to last season and of course he's a little bit older now when it comes to his age and really like a veteran. I feel like he can give you those asset minutes that you need coming off of the bench with efficient scoring, and he can have consistency when the time is needed and when you do need him, because he's been in and out of this game and been to many teams as you can say, and he knows that I know the type of grit and the type of heart that he has, and I feel like with the Lakers acquiring him, it can be such a huge momentum to them. It can have that reminiscent to be like, okay, this is our championship team that we can put together. And not to mention, Jasmine, they just picked up Dwight Howard just a minute ago in the free agency. That is
Really?
such a huge, yes, it is such a huge build. And, he's just coming from the 76ers right now off of a year, and he was just with the Lakers when they won the championship. And I feel like that was such a good pickup for them to sign him for the minimum. Plus, if his just impact coming off of the boards, not to mention they have Drummond and just so much that they can do with this team. I feel like they can go the distance.
Wow, that this is the amazing thing about free agency right now in the NBA. It's like every second there's always somebody signing here, so it's amazing. I cannot believe Dwight came back. There was actually rumors of him and Danny going back to LA, and they were interested in going back. So I'm really shocked about that. Heading into another team, your Miami Heat, Jeremiah. They just signed Kyle Lowry. What is your reaction? What are your expectations for the Miami Heat this coming season?
When it comes to Miami and this season right here, many people can say, it's not such a big move, but I think this was the most important move for the Miami Heat. Having Kyle Lowry come to the team is going to be clamps everywhere, meaning the defense is going to be locked down from when you hit that half court or just even full court. They're going to be right there in your face. And nothing, and Pat Riley loves nothing more, and Spoelstra loves nothing more than suffocating deep. They are built off of that each and every time. We seen them do it when it came to in the bubble. We seen to do them when it came to playing that zone defense. And with hands like Lowry, he lead the league in history when it comes to charges. Jimmy Butler in steals, he was the top defensive person that was last season. Bam, you already know what he can do and how the incredible of improvement that he has keep doing, especially for the team. Not to mention, they also have different assets, just as well as Victor. He's in injury right now, but him coming back, I feel like he can be a great asset to the team. And as well as Duncan
This
Robinson, which they extended his contract, which for 90
right
million, he's the highest paid contract for undrafted player,
unsigned.
and that's
Yeah,
incredible. And with them bringing back, they having shooters and plus lockdown defense. I feel like this team they can make a big run in the playoffs.
I will not be surprised that this Miami Heat team is the best defensive team next year. I just think what they just did, signing Kyle Lowry, a very valuable player, and you have already Jimmy Butler. You already built a very good defensive sounding team already with Bam, and Bam is becoming a star already. You have Jimmy. We already know what he stands for. It's going to be very interesting. Not to mention they have a lot of good role players who can shoot, who can play, and then you have players coming off the bench. So this Miami Heat team is going to be, they're going to be another team to mess with coming out of the East. And being that they signed Duncan Robinson is a very scary 3-point shooter. That guy, we saw what he did in the finals against the Lakers and the playoffs. Actually, that whole season when they were in the bubble, he played lights out, and I think he really much so deserved that money. Then we're heading into Jeremiah. Chris Paul resigns with the Suns. Now, we saw what happened this past season, losing in the finals, his first ever finals. And as we see, the West has gotten better. When you look at the Lakers, they're stacking up as we speak. What does this mean for the Suns? Can the Suns return? And what does this mean for Chris Paul?
Well, when it comes to the whole Chris Paul deal, I am a good fan of Chris Paul. He's one of my favorite point guards, of all time. Especially what he can do, especially with the ball and how he can contribute the ball and everything else like that. But I'm going to be real on this decision that I had right here. He did not deserve this over 100 million contract.
Mm.
And you can say, Jeremiah, why would you say that? He went to the finals recently, and everything else like that. But of course, he didn't have a great performance in my thing. And plus, not to mention, with him being at the certain age that he is, people have to understand he is already, about to be 37 years old, almost 40 years old. So that, and not to mention the different injury prones that he had during his season when it came to the Rockets, when it came to OKC, and now just recently, just during this playoffs run, he can't really stay healthy. And plus, just at the age that he is, like, I just don't feel like you should have that much trust like that, especially into, like, Chris Paul, and just in my opinion, because you have such a young core, and I feel like your cap space in the future. Just imagine if anything goes wrong to where that he just says, I want to get out of here. Something goes wrong to where a deal. I don't think that nobody will pick up that huge contract that Paul has when it
Right.
comes to later on, because you're talking about, like I said before, a point guard that's going into almost like, year was it 16 or 17. So
Yeah.
I feel like, he just needs to, I just feel like he should have like a 90 million, maybe 3 year. But the Suns,
Yeah.
to be honest with you, they are going to go to Disney. I feel like they're going to be a great playoff team. Maybe make it to the Western Conference, or maybe to the second round. But I don't see them getting back to the finals. Definitely not in this capacity that the NBA is, and how it's such improving with each team.
And as we speak, a lot of these teams that the Suns did play in the playoffs were injured. A lot of their star players were injured. Those guys are going to be coming back. But then let's not forget
I
this,
do
that
agree.
Golden State team. They're coming back.
Definitely.
When you look at, and here's the thing, we don't know where Kawhi's going to go. There's talks of him going to the Mavericks with Luka. It's going to, but do you think
Jasmine, repeat that question. I did not hear you. Kind of broke up.
will we see a Ben Simmons trade?
Will we see a Ben Simmons trade? I would say definitely yes, but not at the capacity that the 76ers are asking. They're asking for too much, and I feel like if you try to get too, Ben Simmons is going to stay in your hair. And one thing about Ben Simmons, if he doesn't like something, he will let you know. And it's been shown from before, like just recently, right now, this off season, many of the staff, when it came to the 76ers organization, they try to reach out more of Ben Simmons. He doesn't really reach back as much. He's busy doing his thing, because he already knows that you're already trying to trade him already. You already know that there's no belief when it comes to him right now, because you guys just said, okay, let's move on from him. And of course, he didn't have such an amazing season, everything else. And I feel like he played very low to his standards, which he is supposed to be at right now at his age, and especially, coming into the league as he did from before. But to be honest with you, when it comes to Ben Simmons right now, I don't really blame him for being as the way he is right now, is because just recently when they lost to the Hawks this playoffs, they were saying how much they had in trust in Ben Simmons, that they're going to try and work with him this offseason and everything. And then turn around, and then they're saying they're trading him. And I feel like they're trying to be real greedy right now for different trades. And I feel like trying to get certain draft picks and certain stars, they're going to come up small. So I feel like they should, get their minds together and everything else, and just say, we're just going to go for, what's out there and what's the best deal. You're not trying to go for the mountaintops and everything else, because this trust the process thing hit flat, and you have to. And if you're playing into your hands to where that you're gonna try and build yourself into a rebuild, because you're gonna make everybody unhappy.
I agree. And I think Ben Simmons would have been a really, really good fit for Golden State. But I know Golden State, they declined that whole trade there, because they were like you said, the 76ers were asking for entirely too much. And I think for Ben Simmons, he needs to go to a place where I think right now he could become a number 2. I'm not giving up on him, but I think what we need to see is him go to be a 4th option, so he can be around veteran guys. But we're going to go to a quick break with Kelly, with our announcer, Kelly Johnson, for a quick break. We'll be right back.
You're watching Jasmine Pollock's First Impression Sports Talk. Stay in touch with Jasmine on her social media channels to see videos, featured guest interviews, and much more. Find Jasmine on LinkedIn by searching Jasmine Pollock. On Instagram, it's at GameSpace_sports. And you can find Jasmine on YouTube by searching GameSpace Sports Content. First Impression Sports Talk airs each Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can see the show live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. If you missed the live show, we have you covered. A recorded version is always available on social media. And now, back to more First Impression Sports Talk.
All right, welcome back to Jasmine's First Impression Sports Talk. We're heading into our final segment of the night, my Green Bay Packers. Like I said before, I knew it all along that my guy Aaron Rodgers will return. He has returned. So Jeremiah, when we heard the news that he was coming back and he had the whole press conference, what was your reaction? What were you feeling? And what did you take from his interview when he was questioned by the press?
Most of what I took of it is just a sigh of relief that this thing is over. I am so glad that this feud is finally over when it came to everything, because to be honest with you, the Green Bay fans, and I know the Packers organization, and especially Aaron, they wanted to get this over with. They wanted to have a resolution, especially to what their plans are for this future. And I feel like they put those type of things together when it came to this and a deal that Aaron and the organization has put together, which is bringing him back for one more season. And then after that, they'll probably look to trade him. They both came to a compromise of what they want. The organization, they want to start off new. They want to have a new quarterback and a new, direction they want to go at. And when it comes to Aaron, he still says he has it in him. And I know he does have it in him. Just coming off an MVP season and everything, I feel like he can just go the distance and do more. And even this year, I just felt like, when him and Devontae, posted those messages, about the last dance and everything else. And it's not just about the Jordan and the Pippen thing. It's just about, this is our last year and we're going to make it count. Even if it's not their last year, we're doing this for us and for the city. And just during his press conference, like Rodgers, he was being honest and just very open. And I appreciate him for all that he did, especially during that whole press conference at the training camp. It was very impressive. And he was just explaining from his side when it came to everything down the line of his thoughts on, about to retire, the thoughts of him just saying, I wanted to have more control, not to say just of the whole organization, but just have a say so that we will have no more of, dysfunction and losing players as we did in the past and everything. And I always, connected with that and kind of understood everything that he was saying. And it kind of, brought back to my topic of, what I thought that the whole thing was about, and I was right, is about the principles of everything. Aaron wanting, more of a structure, just be like, where are we going? Are we just in a standstill? Are we just going to the conference championship and then that's it? He wants to win a championship. And I feel like the Green Bay Packers, they understand that right now. And especially this year, bringing Cobb back, having about to extend Devontae's contract and everything else. They understand, this is the time right now. And if they're trying to hit their goal, they have to take advantage of it right here and right now.
I love that you just said that, being that I am a diehard Packers fan. I love everything you just said, and I agree 100%. For me, being that I've seen my team go through ups and downs and the good, bad, and the ugly for probably a good decade. I've seen it all. And just seeing Aaron come back and him being, him looking at peace, looking like, he's, comfortable. That was the biggest thing I wanted to see. And I always knew that he was going to come back. I felt that he was going to come back. It felt good that I felt that him and the front office sat down and had a conversation. I think the media didn't do the best of relaying information. I do know that 100%. I think there was a lot of information that was all over the place and it kind of confused everyone. But I'm so happy that we got Cobb back. And I think Cobb is one of those veterans that our young receiving core need, that they can look up to and talk to and just have that nucleus. And he was one of Aaron's security blankets also. So it's amazing to see. But for me, my question is never the offense. It's never Aaron Rodgers' ability. It's never our offense's ability. The biggest question to me is the defense. Can the defense deliver and give Aaron the ball when he needs it, and so he can be the best version of himself?
Definitely.
So I've seen throughout the course of all these great quarterbacks we've seen, they've always, especially this man here in Tampa Bay, has always had good defenses on his side, always had a coach that was very defensive minded. And when you have someone like Aaron Rodgers, who's talented, who is one of the greatest quarterbacks that we've seen, he needs a defense that he can lean on, not just them relying on him 100%. So I want to see what the defense is going to deliver. I think it's going in the good direction, but there's still a lot of questions that I have that I want to see. It's never the question of the offense, but I was just thrilled to see him back. I'm thrilled to see him back in the facility, training camp, and all those guys are really thrilled that this man is back, because there's a brotherhood in that locker room when it comes to my Packers. So I was really thrilled to see that. So
yes, I agree.
Right. For me, what do you think now do you think Aaron will finish his career out in Green Bay? What do you think for that?
To me, I would say yes, because no matter where, Rodgers, decides to go or anything else, the Packers, they're always going to be his home, the team he was drafted by, the team that has the most love for him, no matter what's going on in the media, how much they hate him or anything else like that. Green Bay is always an Aaron Rodgers, a place of home. Because after Favre, you have Aaron. Like that's your top two guys that are the whole team's face. And I feel like anywhere that he does go, or anywhere, it would be like it'll be just like as far as he left the Packers and everything else. He left, but he is always going to be remembered as always the Packers. Even if tries to leave or anything else like that, I think that he will always try to make his way back, even on his last year, even if it's on his last leg. He is going to do a sign and then retirement, because I just know that he loves the Packers too much to ever, just want to, be somewhere else and try to retire.
I agree. As a Packers fan, I want him to stay. And like I said before, even if Aaron were to leave, I would love him to go to an organization where it gives him the best chance. But I know that Green Bay is I think that a lot of blood, sweat, and tears were on that field, in that locker room, in that organization for him. So I just feel that Aaron is a Packer. I think that's his home, and I just love that. I'm just thrilled as a fan to have him back and for us to compete again and get to that next level. The only way I feel that this can be right and for it to be strong is for us to go to a Super Bowl and win, not just go to an NFC championship and lose in a heartbreaking fashion where you think we have hope and then it's like, oh my goodness, So I think the Packers fans have been waiting a long time. We're waiting a long time to see Aaron at that stage again and be able to say, hey, we're back at winning form, how we're supposed to be. So I'm really thrilled that he's back, and I'm thankful that, we brought Cobb back, and I think we have a very good, solid team. It's just getting over that NFC championship. I think that's the big asterisk in his legacy right now, is that 1-4 championship record in the NFC championship. So that wraps up tonight's show. Thank you so much, Jeremiah, for tuning in tonight. Thank you for giving your thoughts and your great expertise on some of these topics. I want to thank Jay for the production. Thank Leon for the production. Thank Kelly, our announcer, for the announcements. And we will see you here to talk about some of the hottest sports next Monday here on Jasmine's First Impression Sports. So have a good night.